Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Muhammad Amir, teacher of your hospital pharmacy. Today we will start chapter number 1, manufacturing bulk and sterile. Uh, well, before starting, I have added a slide of 4 questions. We will be able to answer these questions after the lecture, inshallah. So, introduction. The in-house preparation of drugs in hospital pharmacy can be categorized into bulk compounding, preparation of non-sterile drugs, and sterile manufacturing. Bulk compounding is preparation of drugs not available commercially and modified formulations to be used for clinical and investigational purpose. While sterile manufacturing includes preparation of sterile topical solutions, small volume injectables, IV mixtures, and total parenterals. Under this manufacturing, only those drug dosage forms, strengths, and packaging are prepared which are needed for the optimal drug therapy, but they are not available commercially. So most of pharmacies in Pakistan are not operating a manufacturing program. Some of pharmacies are involved in simple compounding, but some major hospitals are involved in preparation of sterile products like total parenteral nutrition, cytotoxic drugs, and other IV mixtures. Manufacturing program can be further promoted by convincing hospital administrators about the abilities to initiate the manufacturing skills of hospital pharmacists. There are some of the benefits of this manufacturing program in which number one is the development of close relationship between hospital pharmacists and physicians. It promotes the cost effectiveness to the patient. Third is the complementing the operation of formulary system. Fourth one is making drugs available which are not commercially available and enable the physicians to cope up with the problems like which drugs are not available commercially, and is ability of this product because these are not very much in use, so they are not prepared on a large scale. Pharmacies have knowledge of pharmaceutical formulations, formulation problems, stability, sterilization, etc. His knowledge and talent can be incorporated in an in-house manufacturing program of an institute. So pharmacists must know that in-house preparation requires the same principles, standards, and control as those employed in commercial manufacturing. The regulation of good manufacturing practice are useful model for developing comprehensive control systems. These control systems include number one is the manufacturing process control. The good manufacturing practice regulation provide minimum requirement for the preparation of drug products for administration to humans with reference to the premises, environment, man, methods, machinery, and documentation, etc. It is the responsibility of hospital pharmacists to make a product which meet high pharmaceutical standards. Adequate controls over the manufacturing eventuate into the products accurate in identity, strength, purity, and the quality. So these four parameters must be achieved by the final product formulation, that is the identity, strength, purity, and quality. Sufficient packaging and labeling controls prevent product package label mix-ups. So packaging and labeling is also very much important in order to deliver the right drug to the right patient. Adequate attention must also be given to the stability, palatability, packaging, and labeling requirement of in-house prepared products. Number second control system is the quality control, which further includes the four parameters. However, The quality control is a series of tests, analysis, and observations to establish the identity, quality, and quantity of the product and to assess its safety, purity, and efficacy. Should kept in mind that we should take care of these four things, that are the quality control of raw material, quality control of the instrument used, quality control of the area to ensure the specified pharmaceutical environment, and finally the quality control of the finished products. Among various aspects of quality control, the more important is to ensure the integrity of label of in-house prepared formulations. This can be test accomplished by developing series of cross checks and laboratory analysis. So there must be a drug testing laboratory. If you are going to manufacture within the hospital, you should make a quality control lab, not very large but on a small scale, and it fulfills all these four parameters, that the drug testing laboratory is able to check the raw material, instruments, the pharmaceutical environment, and the finished product. If your laboratory is able to check all these things, then you can manufacture the drugs. The third one is the budgetary control. In budgetary control is employed to regulate economic aspects of hospital pharmacy manufacturing program. The feasibility of manufacturing program in a hospital pharmacy depends on budgetary control. An adequate budget control over manufacturing program requires careful planning for manufacturing requirements, raw material requirements, manufacturing capacity, available personnel, and operating costs. So here I have also mentioned the manufacturing requirements. What are the requirements? The quantitative estimation of the manufacturing frequency and number of particular drugs to be manufactured per annum. Per annum means per year. So you have to estimate all the budget for the whole year, or at least you should have an idea how much we will manufacture in this current year. And so for this purpose, the manufacturing requirements can be estimated in terms of rate or production volume, batch quantity, or manufacturing frequency. The second is the material requirement. Material for which the planning is done include raw materials, containers, labels, ancillary materials. Ancillary materials includes filter papers, filter pads, boxes. The estimated manufacturing requirements provide the basis for prediction of materials requirement for particular manufacturing program. The material requirement is accomplished by two steps. These requirements can be fulfilled by achieving the two steps. Number one is taking of working formula for each drug to be manufactured. Second is the preparation of summary sheet by entering all required quantities, because the same chemical or container may be required by many different formulas. So different chemical containers required for different drugs. For example, if you are preparing a tablet, paper container can be used for the tablets, but if you are manufacturing a syrup, you should have a glass or plastic bottle. So therefore there are different types of container for different kind of drugs. For effective material planning, the required material can be divided into 4 quarters to allow an ample time. So these all the material can be divided into 4 parts to utilize the basic principles of good purchasing technique, and at the same time ensure against over inventory and shortage of materials in the pharmacy. Number third is the manufacturing capacity. It means to produce the selected formulas, and manufacturing capacity of each equipment are two critical consideration in any bulk compounding program. So manufacturing capacity is also a critical step for the manufacturing of this bulk compounding program. The type and size of manufacturing equipment required for manufacturing program vary from institution to institution. So it also depend upon the hospital size. If they can afford, they will buy a heavy machinery, heavy equipments. Again, they can manufacture expensive items. But if the budget is low of the hospital and they want to set a manufacturing setup within the hospital, so they will not go for the expensive item manufacturing. Primary consideration must be given to scope of manufacturing program, quantities to be produced during any production cycle, and as well as length of time that will be required to consume the product. Modern technology has made possible the availability of equipments that meet every production needs. These are automatic, semi-automatic, and manual equipments, and can handle amounts that are considered to be practical volume quantity for a particular hospital. The descriptive brochures and catalogs produced by equipment produce assisting in selecting the more versatile equipment for particular use and needs. For economic reasons, the selection of equipment should be made on the basis of multiple of uses to which a single piece of equipment can be put. This enables the pharmacist to utilize equipment at its maximum capacity and prevents costly equipment from accumulating idle time. The selection of such equipments capable to perform variety of functions also prevents space allocation problem, may eventuating on having more equipment, each performing single operation only. The fourth parameter for the manufacturing in the material requirements is manufacturing staff. So sufficient number of manufacturing staff is required to achieve the manufacturing. So pharmacist will be a supervisor, and the ancillary personnel will follow the order of the supervisor or pharmacist. The number of manufacturing staff is also very critical factor for economic of bulk compounding program. So if you have a large number of stock, you will produce expensive item, and if you have a limited number of staff, the manufacturing cost will be ultimately low. Too many personnel will raise cost of manufacturing products even more than to purchase it from a commercial supplier. While too little personnel possesses inability to maintain the adequate production schedule and potential errors, neither of which may be overlooked. Reduction in labor cost is the aim of administrator, but under no circumstances should a bulk compounding program be undertaken without services of a pharmacist. So if there is no pharmacist, you cannot manufacture at all anything, especially the drugs. If you are willing to produce the drug products, you should have a pharmacist as a supervisor in the manufacturing area. The last one is the operating cost. Operating cost includes direct cost and the indirect cost. The direct cost is the price spent on material and labor involved in the manufacturing. On the other hand, the cost of supervisory personnel, space, equipments, maintenance, housekeeping are the indirect costs. The estimated indirect cost should be compared with the direct cost for the purpose of calculating a ratio of overhead expenses to that of direct labor expenditure. The true cost of the product can be calculated by using ratio of overhead cost to the direct cost. So the ratio of these two costs can predict a suitable price of the product. Now, non-sterile manufacturing, the manufacture of traditional non-sterile oral liquids and topical preparations has declined in the hospital sector over the recent years. However, a non-sterile production service is required to support several clinical specialties, particularly dermatology and pediatrics. These two departments are still required. The bulk manufacturing are the products which are not available commercially. So these are promoting the compounding and in-house these two department of the hospital are in support of production within the hospital, because mm, these required the products which are not commercially, plus uh, the demand of that particular products are very much low in the market, so you have to manufacture within the hospital. uh, for example, 3% normal saline oral liquid, it requires 3 gram of table salt to dissolve in 100 ml of water. And if you want to produce 1 liter of 3% oral normal saline, you have to put 30 gram of the table salt, so you will be able to produce the 3% normal saline. It is used in the ICUs for the electrolyte imbalance within the patient. And apart from that, many products are manufactured in the bulk manufacturing. The facilities and equipment. So typically non-sterile manufacturing is carried out in a European Union grade D class 10,000 ISO 7 environment. Although some units required production staff to wear sterilized or cover all gowns, most centers relies on clean two-pieces gowns of low lint shedding material, overshoes, hats and gloves. So all of these and the requirements to working in the area of the bulk manufacturing. To reduce the biological bioburden, drains and portable water supplies are excluded from the production areas. So the water supplies within the production area, and all services should have smooth impervious finish to facilitate effective cleaning. And it can be achieved by using in today's world by using the tiles or marble. Weighing areas separate from the main production area, linked it with a pass-through hatch, and should be fitted with a localized dust extraction. So the weighing area have a chance of the dust, because many of the material are in the powder form. It also produces dust, so the production area should be separated from the weighing area, as it also be and this design is get from the industries, as the in industries weighing area is at different place and the production is at different place. So there are two sections. Although containers for non-sterile products are not reused, so container will not be used even in the bulk manufacturing. A facility for washing and drying containers before use may be required. So there should be a facility of the washing and drying of these containers. Separate areas should be provided for labeling and reinspection of the products. There should be a separate area for the inspection of the final product. Process for the manufacturing non-sterile products. All raw materials, containers and labels used in the production process must be approved by a person responsible for quality control. To reduce microbiological bioburden, limits are placed on the level of microbiological contamination of raw materials, and only sterile water Usually water fire irrigation or freshly distilled water is used for manufacturing. All product formula, storage condition and shelf assignment require prior QC approval. You should have the quality control approval before manufacturing. The manufacturing process is controlled through use of approved standard operating procedures and batch documents. Particular care is required to ensure the mixing processes produce a homogeneous product for distribution into the individual containers that constitute the batch. The process must be validated for each product type to ensure uniformity of content in the finished batch. The avoidance of cross contamination between different products is also essential. Only one batch may be prepared in a designated work area at one time, and the cleaning of equipment and work surfaces must be carefully validated and monitored. Fill containers should be visually inspected for product homogeneity and absence of any extraneous material. The security of container closures should be checked and quality and accuracy of labels determined against a master label for the product. It is essential that batch documentation includes reconciliation between the amount of raw materials, number of containers and number of labels used in the process and the yield of finished products. All variations must be recorded and investigated. So the second is the sterile manufacturing. This includes preparation of IV mixtures, total planetary nutritions, and the cytotoxic drugs. Facilities and equipments. In general, the weighing and solution preparation areas are required would be similar to those described previously for non-sterile manufacturing. So weighing and mixing of the solution or powder does not require any aseptic conditions. However, the filling, sealing and capping stages must be accomplished in a higher quality environment, usually European grade A class 1 ISO 1 environment should be suitable because it will minimize the particulate contamination and reduces the microbiological load prior to sterilization. This is usually achieved by local laminar flow of high efficiency particulate air filters, as we call HEPA filters, air at the filling zone. After filling and sealing the containers and their contents are sterilized by steam in an autoclave. So autoclave must be there for the sterilization purpose, or by dry heat in a hot air oven. So you should need an oven for the dry heat. So there you people know there are different type of sterilization, and there are different uh, type of material, and they require different type of sterilization. So non-aqueous liquids and powders need hot air, while aqueous solutions needs the steam sterilization. The sterilizers and associated monitoring equipment can be located in a low grade environment and are normally seated so that maintenance staff can access them without the need to enter in the critical production area. So the sterilizer and associated monitoring equipment, it should be located somewhat like the staff which are not present in the sterilization, they can get these sterilized material without entering in that area. This can be achieved by simply if you have a window in a wall, so you can take you can take the sterilized material or the sterilized products from that window. Dedicated space for reinspection of the finished products, labeling, packaging and quarantine is also required. So again, there should be a dedicated area for these sterilized products for their labeling, packaging and quarantine is also required. Process of sterile manufacturing. In addition to the process outlined under non-sterile manufacture, sterile production normally includes the filtration process. So there is a filtration process for liquid and also sterilization of the product. These processes are critical to product quality and require rigorous validation and control. So there is a strict quality control procedures because these are very sensitive, and most of these products are for the systemic circulation. So if you want to supply some drugs directly into the blood of the patient, so you must have to achieve these rigorous validation and control of the whole procedure. The microbiological bioburden must be minimized, particularly in case of injectable, to reduce the release of bacterial pathogens in the product, because these will not be destroyed by sterilization. So pathogens are the byproducts of bacteria, so these are not destroyed by sterilization. So it can be controlled only by the strict environment control. This is achieved by limiting the number of viable microorganisms in starting materials and by minimizing the time between preparations of the bulk products. If you are prepare all these bulk products in very limited time and then you will shift it to this sterilization area, so there will be a limited number of these bacterial pathogens. Sterilization cycle for each batch is clearly monitored to ensure that all containers in the batch have received the pharmacopoeial standard. So for there should a USP or BP which you people wants to follow, but there should be a pharmacopoeia, and as I told you many times, the SOPs. So the SOPs for these manufacturing is also very much important to achieve the to get these products. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.